Lovers Association. This is your guy Marcellus Ease, and we are in for a treat as the boys from the Bay head to Sacktown to visit the Kings and perhaps have one last royal dance. But the Kings had other plans as Keegan Murray, Harrison Barnes, and Keon Ellis stepped up, not only knocking down their shots at a high clip, but also playing tremendous defense, stifling Stephen Curry, and also applying scoring pressure to the other players on the Warriors, which ended up putting Klay Thompson on the spotlight as he went 0 for 10. But I'm not going to say no more. Let's just get to it.
See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out.
Alcohol, right.
Now peep Ellis right here. He's going to set a screen on Thompson, and Sabonis is also going to come in and set a second screen in order to get Murray open. You see it play out. There goes the first screen. Thompson gets through, and peep Sabonis right here. He's going to set a second screen as Murray's going to step right into this shot right here. The perfect splash. So very early on, they're picking on Klay already. Now Keegan Murray right here is going to continue cooking. As right here, right on the up fake, Harrison Barnes is going to get Stephen Curry to stunt. Once he makes that stunt, he's going to make the pass initial right here. Another open three-point shot. Now throughout this whole game, Ellis plays perfect defense on Curry. Now peep how hard he's going to have to make him work off ball just to get this shot off. Look at the foot movement. Keeps up with Curry. Tough shot. Referee doesn't rule that he's in his space, and he keeps this going. You know, ironically, Curry did not get his first shot off until about 5 minutes into the first quarter. But this shot right here signifies how difficult he's going to have it for the rest of the night. Once again, they're making Curry work really hard for his shots. Keegan Murray's on him, and now the switch. Ellis is going to be on him, and Ellis is going to strip him right here. Great defense. Now keep in mind, up until this point, Stephen Curry started already showing signs of fatigue in the last quarter of the Warriors season. Even though it was probably their most successful part, them going 26-12, Curry did begin to show signs of fatigue, not only averaging less points per game, but his turnovers also went up, while his shooting percentages went down. Now this play right here shows you that this is going to be a tough matchup for the Warriors going forward if they don't get enforcements on their team. Sacramento right now is missing Malik Monk as well as Kevin Huerter, but still do not lack the versatility of having guys who can defend multiple positions in Keegan Murray and Harrison Barnes. As we're watching fight through this screen with Curry, look at everyone just battling, trying to find where Curry's at, and good recognition from Sabonis to contest this from Curry. But yet another tough bucket. And this is a tall tale sign of what should be expected for the rest of the night. So going into the second quarter, the Warriors bench unit continued to make something happen as they even struggle with entry passes like the one right here. This was kind of shaky. And also just the passing overall just looked a little suspect. But everywhere they turned, they pretty much had nowhere to go. As right here, we'll watch Klay Thompson just give the ball up. And just another turnover. So the Warriors have a number of things going against them, especially when Curry doesn't really have it going. And as he creeps up there in age, all that off-ball movement for an 82-game season is going to start to wear down on him going into the playoffs. So they're going to eventually have to rely on a second consistent scorer. Somebody has to be an option. At this point right now, with Klay struggling and looking like a shell of his former self, along with Andrew Wiggins kind of going through the same minus the injuries, it doesn't look too good for the Warriors at this moment. Just look at the level of degree of difficulty Curry has to make these in order to keep the Warriors just barely in it. It was definitely a rough night for Curry. He even missed a bunny right here. So Ellis continued his phenomenal defense against Curry in the third quarter as the Kings threw multiple bodies on Curry, making every single shot attempt, including the ones that he made, just being really difficult to get off. And when you add on the Warriors didn't really have an answer to the amount of shots that Ellis was knocking down on the other end. They did not have one other player outside of Curry that kind of duplicated that same energy just coming from Ellis himself. Because in this third quarter, a barrage of three-pointers came down. The Kings overall shot 78%. You had guys like Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray, and De'Aaron Fox adding on to the amount of three-pointers made. And heading into this fourth quarter, it just looks like the Warriors already have no response for the amount of players that are contributing for the Kings. There's not even a close second besides Curry as being an offensive option. You know, for Klay Thompson, it was a little bit more than him just going 0 for 10. It was about the Warriors missing Gary Payton, their second best perimeter defender, which leaves the margin for error even lower than where it previously was. I mean, we're talking about a number of conundrums here. Just him being a slight shell of himself, which tends to put guys like Klay Thompson under a larger microscope. But this season, just seeing how tight things have gotten due to those situations, we see it starting to have a trickle-down effect on Stephen Curry, their leader. As in the last quarter of the season, even though the Warriors had a good record, Curry was already beginning to look fatigued. And entering into this game in Sacramento, he kind of looked the same. A little bit tired. The system the Warriors do run with him just running off these curls, especially being at age 36, is going to tax the body after a certain point. And all those things piled up add very little room for error, which leads to the shots that Klay Thompson ends up taking, whether they're open shots, mid-range. We even see him struggle to take advantage of a smaller player in the post-up of De'Vion Mitchell. So there's a lot more to it than Klay going 0 for 10. As in previous seasons, like in the 2022 championship year, Andrew Wiggins being the second best player, particularly in the finals, added a layer of cushion to soften the blow of Klay Thompson returning not quite to being his old self coming off that injury. So heading into the fourth quarter, the Harrison Barnes and Keegan Murray show continued as they kept on knocking down threes at a high clip, and the Golden State Warriors outside of Stephen Curry had no other answer. And that's been the unfortunate conundrum of the Golden State Warriors these past two seasons. They rely too heavily on Stephen Curry, and they're going to have to respond this offseason and find possibly another person that could be just as equivalent. And ever since these two faced off in the series last year, it sort of serves as a litmus test of how far this Golden State roster can really go. Because even without key contributors like Kevin Huerter and Malik Monk, but them missing these two players didn't really have an effect. And Malik Monk specifically, who gave the Warriors a lot of issues last year in that 7-game series because of his speed. But even without these two guys, the Warriors this season really didn't look like they could hold up in a 7-game series if it would have happened against these very same Kings. But that is definitely kudos to Coach Mike Brown, the defensive tenacity of Keon Ellis and Keegan Murray, as well as their sharp shooting in this series. And we can't forget the old friend of the Golden State Warriors, Harrison Barnes, who scored 17 points going 3 of 4 from three-point range. So outside of their main contributors in Sabonis and Fox, the Kings had 3 to 4 other guys who contributed heavily. But on the other side of the coin, the Brandon brothers in Golden State are going to have to make adjustments, not only due to the fact that they're aging, but also the mistakes they used to make in the past that used to get masked over because of their high-level three-point shooting. It's no longer there. So they have many things to address this offseason. And until next time, you fellas stay safe. Peace.